apparently not all nice guys finish last. Am I right, Drew?
I guess. I don't know.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another French Revolution-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back with Skeleton Crew, Season 1, Episode 4, Can't Say I Remember No Atten. Yep, and speaking of titles, we had a poll last week specifically asking about...
how many people read titles?
Yeah, how many? Because I, how do you not read a title when you scroll down to click on it? And Drew says he never reads them. But I was thinking about that. Most Star Wars shows, the title is in the episode when you play it at the beginning.
Well, and The Mandalorian doesn't tell you the title. Remember?
Well, on opening night, but after, it does. But so because we don't normally do polls. We didn't get too many votes. We got 8 votes. We know how many people listen to every episode on Spotify. So, what are you schmucks doing?
There's a lot more of you guys listening.
But it was literally 50-50, 4 and 4.
Dang it!
So I was like, "There's."
We'll do it again. Let's do it again this week and see if more
the
people
same question.
Partition. Yep, just do it again.
We'll see. But we also have a couple comments on Spotify. We haven't had comments in a long time, and now people are starting to come back again. So remember, we got comments on Spotify. So please leave your comments on all our episodes,
and YouTube too.
Yeah,
we're not gonna read the ones that are like "We love you," blah blah blah, because me and Jeremiah
or something.
But me and Jeremiah read those every night before we go to sleep. So
what? Maybe you do. First up, Jonathan says, I'm really enjoying the show quite a bit, but do you guys feel they are leaning too heavily on the Goonies Treasure Island story points? The nostalgia is cool, but I hope at some point it veers abruptly from these paths into a very Star Wars way. Great job as always. I think the reason the show is so great is because it's leaning into that 80s style, that Goonies style thing. And if they didn't do that, it would just feel like a bunch of kids. It'd just be kind of weird. But they're really going into the whole that style on purpose, and I think that's why we like the show. And now, Jonathan, I don't know how old you are, but Drew and I, early to mid 30s, have that nostalgia factor that normally I'm not affected by nostalgia, but it kind of works with me with this show. But maybe if you're younger, maybe it's not as hard hitting, and so that's kind of why it might be a little.
Well, I feel like because it's something new, that's why we're okay with it.
That too. But it'll be interesting to
Star Wars.
So next week, we'll be recording on Christmas Day, but Drew won't be here, but Grace will be joining. And so it'll be interesting to talk to Grace about her thoughts on
because she's younger than us, so she might not feel the same way as we do.
Right.
Maybe she hates it.
No,
you guys all have to tune in.
No, I've been texting her. She likes the show.
Don't spoil it.
But she doesn't like it. Might not be because of the Goonies stuff. It might be for other reasons. So,
yeah, you guys will have to tune in when you guys are opening presents.
Yep. Live stream will be in the Discord, not on Twitch, because Drew runs a Twitch. So
yes,
hopefully
we're not doing Christmas because her sister is coming back from Korea at 4:50 on Christmas Day. It's just kind of annoying.
Wait, so you would be available in the morning?
Probably not knowing stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, we are back with episode 4. The plot thickens. And so is it my turn or your turn to go first?
Your turn now.
All right. Well, at first it was really hard for me to really get into this episode, but as the episode was going on, I liked it more and more. I really liked the focus on Neil this episode, and it's kind of last week the focus was on KB, and now this week the focus is on Neil, and I like that they're doing that. And so I feel like next week might be Fern's episode because she had a little identity crisis and stuff, and now she's kind of like needs to jump into that role of being leader. So I think next week it could be a Fern focused episode, but I really like Neil's kindness that kind of inspired his new girlfriend. Like, forget Runa, he now has, what's her name? Hannah. Yeah.
I don't remember, but
Um,
that boy got game though.
in the
Like,
Discord, like the
just
first thing I put was like, Neil has more Riz than Cad Bane.
for real. Just because you're blue and you have a trunk and giant ears doesn't mean you can't get a girl. So for all you out there that are like mad that you don't have a girl, I mean, you could have ears and an elephant nose, and
Yep, you just gotta be
it's all about what's
being
inside, man.
kind and
Like you said, like nice guys don't always finish last.
apparently. So there is hope for some people out there. But but as the episode went on, I thought it was really good. And the ending was really good when SM33 went crazy. Like, that was scary. His voice was changing. I was
That
like,
was
how
pretty
are they
cool.
going to get out of this? I kind of thought maybe Hannah was going to just show up out of the blue, but like, nope. But I really liked how Neil like refused to fight, and then at the end he's the one that kind of like cast the first stone and to try and save his friends the best he could. So I like that. And you know, we thought next season they're going to find all these new planets. Well, apparently not. They're already jumping in. So I think now they might be going to some extra planets to see if they can. My guess is
They're gonna have to go to the other ones to try to figure out how to get to Aden.
yeah, because I'm guessing that all the planets have that same tower thing with the pillars, and so maybe we'll be seeing a lot more of these planets because they listed 1, 2, 3, 4 more by name, and so that's
Because
kind of
there's like
cool.
total of 6, right?
Total of 9 planets.
Oh,
So they have. So we know the names of 6 of the 9, but it looks like they all start with an A. So there's that. And I also want to know what Jod did because there was a lot missing that they intentionally kept secret of what he did. I don't think I believe his story about how he got out of that situation. So I wonder if we're gonna get that backstory at all, or an explanation, or is something gonna come up that's part of that? I don't know, but a lot of mystery in this episode that I really liked. So, Drew, your thoughts?
I kind of similar to you. It was a little harder to get into a little bit. I just want to say straight up, I was right that they weren't going to the right planet. Just
Okay,
want to put that out there. Yeah. Also, I think it's kind of cool that the planets are like mimic of each other.
they're like all copies, like
Yeah. So
exactly
like
down to the same.
buildings and trees inside the buildings,
Right.
and so I thought that was kind of cool. Like I will first for a little bit of it. Jeremiah might think this is stupid, but in the beginning when we first got to that planet and we're like looking at it and like, oh, what happened to Aden? Like, why does it look like this? I was like, maybe they like went into like a world between worlds scenario or something where they actually like went forward or backwards in time or something. Like they somehow
But
like
that's what Wim said. Maybe we fell asleep for 100 years, and just like
yeah.
whatever story, probably one of his stories from that data pad thing.
So like that's what I thought. Like, dude, that would have been a really cool concept if like they messed with the timeline somehow because of like how those planets work. I feel like it'd be kind of hard to explain,
Oh yeah, it would have been really hard.
but I don't know. Did you think like that too a little bit at
Well,
first
at first,
when they first got there?
when they first got there, I thought it was like a different part of the planet. that they went to, like a failed thing,
Oh,
and
that would have been cool too.
And then their city was reestablished on the other side of the planet or something. Yeah. But watching the second time around, like those things that were surrounding the planet, which would have been their barrier, you could see that I didn't notice the first time, but they were all deteriorated and broken up and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, if I would have noticed it right away, then
I didn't notice it right away. I was like, oh, maybe that would have been a cool concept too, though. If there's like little tiny parts of the planet that they could access to, but then like at Aden's part of the planet is reserved because of that barrier, and like they could still do that. What if it's just one planet?
I don't know.
And they like leave to go to the other part and just brings them around the other side of the planet.
I don't know. There's a lot they could do, but
that would be cool. I don't think that's what it is, but that would be a cool concept story. It's kind of like the Hunger Games, or there's different tiers of, but it's like all mimic of each other, and some failed, some didn't.
Oh,
it's
different
like
districts.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. But anyways, yeah. So I was just like, oh, that would have been sweet if it was like a different concept. But then like when they got there, I really liked like how the kids were trying to figure out if that was their plan, and they were super confused. And I thought the story was pretty cool. And Neil is the best character by far. He's my favorite. He's the best, hands down, the best kid. I think he's really, really sweet and nice. But then he's opening up and becoming more brave, and it's all for his friends and stuff. And then the other kid, the main one the one that we all thought was the main one, I always forget his name.
Wim.
Yeah, Wim. He's still my least favorite, and he made me even more annoyed this episode than the last one. I don't know. He's just annoying to me.
Why?
I don't know.
You're telling me you weren't annoying when you were a 10-year-old? Look, I knew you when you were 10 years old.
I'm not saying I wasn't. It's like Neil is like the GOAT. This elephant dude, like, getting whatever girl he wants, like, talking. Although I thought it was so funny when he was like, "It's so dusty around here. My trunk is like,"
and it's like honking, like he's trying to breathe, like blowing the air through it.
I thought that was hilarious. I was dying. I was like, dude, that's so
I was like,
funny.
what does that sound? Like, oh, it's his nose.
Like, my trunk is clogging up. I thought that was so funny. And also, did you notice that the alien species on this planet are the same alien species that were on the other one?
Well, I tried looking because I saw the Ithorians, but like there's that one kid, like the green kid, that was with Hannah at the beginning, and we see him a few other times. Like I didn't recognize his species, but I didn't see any like furry people.
Yeah, there were.
There were?
When they went to the roof on top of that school, one of the booths, the main person was a furry, like literally looked the exact same. It probably was the same costume, obviously, but yeah.
Because I'm trying to think, there was Ithorians, Rhodians, these furry people, humans, obviously. Was there anyone then? But I didn't see any elephant people.
I didn't, but then I also, what made me think that they probably were there is because those other kids weren't like questioning him. Unlike when those kids went to that other planet and they were like, "Oh, look at all these different aliens." Like they weren't surprised by his species.
Right.
So it makes me think that they were there.
Right.
We just didn't see them.
Right.
Because otherwise they would be like, "Well, what are you? Who are you? Like, you're out." So,
right.
So I thought that was cool, and like little details. Like it seems like they literally got the same type of people and kind of just put them on all these planets. And I think we're gonna learn a lot more about what this experiment was, because like, it's not just like they're testing something. Like they're trying to figure out.
Well, you also got to consider that if all the planets are the same, like with the same buildings and layout, that means at Aten, the school has that giant cannon on the roof.
Yes.
So that was like a foreshadow that like they're gonna get back to the planet.
100%.
The planet's gonna get attacked by pirates. You know, Brutus is probably gonna come.
And
And Neil's going to
also,
be the only one that knows about it. And he's going to go run up there and like.
yes. That's definitely gonna happen. Also, I think it was also a little foreshadowing too that their leader dude with the statue didn't have a head anymore. And so like clearly like they like
Overthrew, yeah.
their government.
A coup d'etat. Was Garrett there this whole
Yeah,
time?
I wonder if Garrett
Garrett, what
was
are you
there.
doing with your life? Are you overthrowing these
Hmm.
random planets?
Was this one of the planets you over? But yeah, so like what makes me think could happen is these parents are trying to find their kids. They can't they can't leave. They're not allowed to go get their kids. Maybe a bunch of these people are going to start trying to overthrow theirs. So it'd be interesting if they go back to Adden and all the parents are going crazy.
Right.
And they come back and it's not normal. I don't think Adden's going to be a hidden planet after this season.
Right.
So I liked it, and I think there's so much really cool detail to the story, and to those points of like the comments of like the comments in Spotify, like it does kind of still feel like Goonies, but at the same time, like now we're getting into this deeper plot point in the Star Wars universe, and that's what this is. Like this is deeper. Like we're gonna figure out who did these planets, who decided to test out this stuff, and how this went about. Like I don't think it's like I don't care about the treasure. Like the whole treasure thing does not.
Right.
I don't care anymore. Like I'm more focused on like what are these planets? Why are they hidden? What's going on? Like what the other planets, are they looking like this? Are they thriving in a different kind of way? Like if they get to another one and it's like booming, but it's like something else. Like it's one giant city. I don't know. Like so we'll see. And I love that we saw those animals.
EOPs.
Yeah, the Opis.
We actually see them with horns.
Yeah,
Looks
so
like.
apparently like there's males and female
So yeah,
ones.
so I'm guessing we've only seen female EOPs like on Tatooine and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
One of them did fart too. That was kind of cool.
did it?
Yeah, one of them went by and it farted.
I didn't even. Was that when they got found, or was that at the
Yeah,
beginning? Okay.
when they were all running by, you heard her.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
It would have been awesome.
But anyway, also I really liked that in this episode we didn't get a lot of Jod. Like the kids are
Yes.
still the main character. Like last episode,
Yes.
he was like he was the main guy just because he was leading them off the pirate base and then bringing them to Kim. But like he was just kind of there. He's doing something shady that we don't know what he was doing, but he kind of cares. But we don't know what
he still really cares about his
treasure.
motivation right now is the treasure. I think it's going to change.
But it would have been really easy for them, the writers, to make Jod take over the show.
Yes. I think that's another. You're right.
But they kept keeping the focus on the kids, which I appreciate. So.
Yeah, me too. I think it's really good that they're still making it feel like what it was in the beginning before he was there.
Yeah. All right. Well, might as well quick go through scene by scene. So immediately they arrive at this planet, and at first the thing floating out in space, I thought it kind of looks like Starlight Beacon from the High Republic a little bit. I'm like, what is this Iram that they're going, or whatever planet was in? Like, interesting. Like whatever, but then like, I was like, oh nope, there's all these other ones around the planet. And I'm like, okay, this must be like the barrier thing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, they're landing. Like, they're going towards the planet. Like, the kids don't know any better.
And it went to autopilot, too.
Right. And so Jod is there, like, oh, this is, and wow, what a sight, blah, blah, blah. And then Fern's like, no adults allowed in the cockpit. He's like, seriously? Yeah, get out of here. And then it goes into autopilot, which... At first, I thought it was like the people on the ground like made it go into autopilot, but I guess the ship did it on its own. Because
Mhm.
then SM-33 was like, well, I can override the autopilot and I can bring us in. And so as they're going in, they see KB says, "Oh, we're here. There's the houses. There's the neighborhood." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I guess we're here." But
And it looked the
immediately,
same,
yeah,
kind of
immediately when they land, it's foggy and darker because it's just like
gloomy.
gloomy and everything's overgrown, and they have like regular like playground equipment like we have,
Yeah,
like
that's
a
kind of
slide and like the merry-go-round. What are those things
yeah.
called? I don't even know what those are called.
They don't even give those to kids these days.
Like, it would have been cool if they had one of those little things where you sit on it and like you dig the dirt up and like turn around. That'd be cool if they had one of those. Maybe they did. I didn't see it, but those were the best at playground.
Those were, but a lot of playgrounds don't have those anymore.
I know, kind of lame. Because now it's just like
It's like wood
a
chips or
wood
like
chip, no, like a rubber mat. It's like a lot of them are now like just
yeah.
straight like rubber
I like
ground.
the rubber mats personally. The wood chips are annoying because like kids fall and then they get splinters and
Ah,
like and the sand is nasty
sand is nasty.
because then
But
you always find like cat crap in it because cats just think it's a giant litter box.
yep.
But you can't dig up wood chips or rubber mats, so
Yep.
these new kids don't understand.
But the kids just start wanting to explore, and then Fern tells SM to keep Jod on the ship, and then SM is just like, come on, blah, blah, blah. He's just like taunting him, whatever, just like get back on the ship and make him get on. So the kids, they start searching around, trying to figure out like where they're at, what's going on. They're like, well, it looks like home, and they enter into one of the houses, and it looks like Fern's house that we see with the spiral, like the big curved spiral case, and like even like the painting on the wall,
It
I
was
think
literally her house.
was the same thing. I'm like, this is so weird. Like, why is this exactly the same? Like, I'm already picturing, okay, this is one of the different planets, but it's like, it's weird that it's like the same painting on the wall, and like,
that's why it was like, it felt like maybe like I didn't know how to describe it except like, is it like the upside down? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it felt like kind of like that scenario at first to me. Like,
it does look like it upside down.
in my mind, it was like, okay, so now they're in the upside down. Like, I don't know, like why I thought about that, but it was just like, I'm like, or did they go like too far in the future, or like too far in the past somehow? Like, they went into the world between worlds without realizing it because the path that they took. I don't know.
Right.
But they didn't. But at first, it kind of threw me off.
Right.
Which is cool.
Yeah, so they're just kind of looking around and trying to figure things out. And then it jumps back to Jod on the ship. And he's just looking around through the junk in the ship and turns on a little thing that has like a dancer hologram from like the holiday special again, I think it was. And like, oh, not gonna look at this thing. And he's looking around. Then he finds Wim's Old Republic credits. And as he's doing that, SM-33 grabs him and freaks out like, we got a thief on board, blah, blah, blah. And Jod's like, it's me, Jod, it's Jod. And he lets him, and he's like, at Akron is getting my circuits all messed up. I'm like, oh, what did he just say? He just said a different planet. And so he's like malfunctioning. Like, he's just kind of acting weird. He's out of norm. The whole episode, he's just kind of acting out of sync.
Little like he's running out of battery or something.
Something like that. But, and again, Jod tries to like ask him questions and like, oh, can you tell me about at Atten? They're like, oh, he's got new memories now because he's remembering this place. And then he says, can't say I remember no at Atten. Same line he said before. And then this whole episode, he's just saying it through the whole episode. Every single time they mention at Atten, he says that same line again. So like something fishy's going on. Then the kids are just walking through, and again, in one of the neighborhoods, this is where Neil has his nose issue where he can't breathe or whatever, getting clogged up. And they're just walking around, and they find the statue with no head. And like, well, this is weird. Like, this must have been their leader, blah, blah, blah. Like, what's going on? And he doesn't have a head. And he's like, oh, maybe his name was Mr. No Head or whatever. And Fern's like, he's stupid. And he's like, well, it could be. Like, what do you think? It's possible. It's kind of funny. And as they're talking, like, it's like a wide shot. And like a rocket or something goes and hits the thing, which I don't understand why that happened, because it didn't like play into the story in that moment
at all.
Like, they just randomly shot a rocket at this military patrol. Is this like, I thought it was like, oh, they saw the kids and then they're like coming in to fight, but no. As it happens, so when it jumped to the scene of them walking around, we see someone hiding behind some equipment or a car or whatever. Like, oh, they're being watched. So when that rocket goes off, another kid comes in with a gun or blaster thing, which they're not really blasters or weird weapons that are kind of cool. And then the other kid comes in from the other side, and they ask, what flag do you fly? And we don't fly any flags. And she's like, the main girl is like, Troik. Like, we're Troik, Troik. And the kids, they couldn't understand what she was saying because she had her mask on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what? Huh? What? And she gets annoyed, takes it up, pulls it off.
Still couldn't really understand what she was saying anyways.
Well, once she took the mask off, I could understand. But like, she definitely has like a French accent. And then so this whole thing is kind of like a World War II French uprising type of feel to it, World War II type thing. So I appreciated that. It was kind of like a Clone Wars episode where it's like, you know, the Twi'leks, they're supposed to be like the French during World War II type of thing because they have French accents and them uprising against the Empire and stuff. So kind of had that little vibe to like a little like Clone Wars episode. But I was also thinking of Visions season 2, The Spy Dancer. Such a good episode. Go watch that if you haven't.
One of the best episodes of Star Wars ever created. And it's like loosely based off a true story too.
Yeah. And so part. The girl says that Hatton, I think it was Hatton or Hutton? Hatton, I think it was. Hatton is like her enemies. Like, she's Troik, then Hatton military's coming by on patrol. And so we gotta get some cover. The patrol comes by, they got like a tank, which is interesting. Like, was this tank already there, or did they import it in from another planet? Because we get a little thing that like people on the planet do trade with off-worlders. So this planet is known to some degree, probably because the barrier is down. But like, is this tank something they traded for, or was it already there? If it was already there, why? But also, does that mean Atten also has tanks too, hidden somewhere that's gonna come into play later? I don't know. But the patrol goes by and they have the EOPs, and like, oh, interesting. I didn't even realize they were EOPs at first because of the horns. And then later on, like a few minutes later, when she mentions it to the guy, like, oh, okay, cool.
I recognized right away, and the sound was the same, so I assume that's what it was.
I see. But yeah, what did you think of this girl Hannah's like sliding and flips that she does?
Dude, she's a goat, bro.
But did you like that?
Yeah, that was dope.
Who was it? Who was in the Discord? I'm gonna call him out.
Someone hated it.
It was our boy Nate Keeney. He's like, anyone else notice the unnecessary slides and flips that Neil's girlfriend did? And then I commented, Nope, they were all necessary.
Yeah. I mean, sure, they weren't. No, well, that one was definitely necessary when she was like hiding behind in like the bus or whatever.
Well, there's one where she's in the bus, she just slides down the aisle and stands up. All right, follow me. And then at the
Yeah, it
very
was.
end, when she's running away after she kissed Neil,
Yeah, but then when the one at the end was that was unnecessary. She's flexing. I was really hoping they were gonna get her because I'm like, dude, this is gonna be their combat leader, like
yeah, I thought she was going to join them.
because she was putting in like you knew that she was gonna be the one to actually like put in work, but.
Right. Now, I think we'll see her again. I think season 2, Neil's going to
Season
return.
2, Neil's gonna be like, "Let me go holler at my
He's going to
girlfriend."
finally have some small tusks coming out.
Ooh,
He's going to be
little
all
tuxy.
maybe a little bit more because his dad is like a little more thin
Maybe
and like
he's gonna be
muscular.
taller, Yeah,
She's
he's gonna grow into his ears a little bit.
She's definitely older because I look up the actress. She's 15, and
Here we
so.
go, Star Wars math.
But then, I should say she's 15 now, but this show was filmed like 2 years ago. So like,
Yeah,
I
she's
guess
probably like a year older or something.
she's probably like 13 then, so she's a little bit older. But like season 2, I don't know if she's gonna be 18 and Neil's only gonna be like 15.
Yeah,
but like, I don't know. It'd be cool to see them.
Yeah, that's gonna get a little iffy.
It'd be iffy. But it'd be cool to see like he returns like. Did her father die and now she's she's trying to like bring peace like more directly because of Neil's impact. It'd be cool to see that. But
yeah,
we'll see. But yes, after patrol goes by, she's like, all right, we gotta go back to our base, and the base is the school. And so it's all in ruins, but like everything else, but that's their base of operations. I'm like, there's so many people here in this big prominent building. How do they not know, like, the enemies not know where they are or whatever? Like, well, we find out later it's about the gun on that cannon on the roof, but
they can't
whatever.
fight it.
They go in and she introduces everyone to General Strix, which is her father. And they have a unique cultural thing where they treat children as equals. Now, I don't know if that's because they do that or because they need soldiers.
I think it's because they need people.
So
and in World War II, pretty similar situations, especially in like Europe and France.
Maybe.
Like there is 15-year-olds fighting for sure.
Right. So now, but I think it's so much time has gone by that they genuinely do have this respect for children. Yes. But it's like, what caused that to happen was probably
they don't have that at Aden.
Right. And so now look, it seemed to imply that this because SM-33 will get it's the next scene that we're jumping ahead, but like he's been to Akron before and he's like he remembers there being warriors. And so if that was hundreds of years before, that means this war has been going on for hundreds of years.
Correct.
So like
also long I have a prediction, but I'll save it towards the end of the
all right.
So
and so the kids are like, hey, yeah, we just need directions home. Like, can you help us get back to Aten? Like, oh, well, we don't really deal with off-worlders unless it's like for trade. Can't help you. And Wim's like, what do you mean? You tell me you don't got any star maps or any coordinates for whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then Hannah spills the beans like, well, what about, what was it called? The Fallen Sacrum. And Dad's like, whoa, no, we can't tell about that. It's too dangerous. It's too far. And she's like, yeah, well, there's carvings of like coordinates of these other planets. And basically the dad's like, well, the kids have to earn that knowledge. They need to help us. They need to train. And then maybe we'll help them out later. So it jumps back to SM and Jod, and they're going down the ramp of the ship. And come on, does any of this remind you of anything? Do you remember anything new? Blah blah blah. Treasure or anything like that? Blah blah blah. And SM, he just keeps like, oh, I remember the same. Like, I remember these warriors. I'm like, what do you mean these warriors? Like, there's no warriors here. And Jod's like, oh, no, treasure, not warriors, treasure. Do you remember anything but treasure? And he keeps saying, no, warriors. And then
The fog moves.
the crowd, the warriors come out of the fog, and Jod's like, oh crap, puts his hands up. He's about trying to Han Solo his way out and like talk his way out, and then you realize it's not gonna work. He's like, just shoot me now. I'm like, what did you mean? Like,
He was just like, whatever, I give up.
like,
Which, okay, to that point, it really makes me think that he's not actually a Jedi at all.
So you think it was tricks that he set up to do all these things?
Yeah. Because especially if that brig was once his brig.
Yeah.
Then maybe he set it up and he had tricks up his sleeves, and he like set it up so just in case if anything ever happened where he got stuck in it, he knew how to get out of it.
Right.
Because he didn't do anything force related at all in this episode that made you think he was like powerful.
Right.
He seemed very soft.
But the
and
one
if
thing
he was
is
force related though, he would also like that droid would not be intimidating to him.
But he's also, I think he's
force
also
pushed.
trying to keep his force ability. If he is force sensitive, he wants to keep it a secret. But
True,
also,
but
the thing is, the one explanation is the key. How did he get the key? That's the one.
String, remember?
Yeah, whatever. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
mean,
There's
you're
something
right.
about the
It's,
key that doesn't make sense. But we'll
Unless
I
he
think
has
we'll
a
eventually
magnet. Remember that one fake Jedi that had all those magnets everywhere?
from Kenobi series, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe he had a magnet.
I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, we get those answers.
Oh, we will. They'll bring it back to him.
I don't know. I feel like they could not give us answers about that. Like, he could die at the end of the season.
No,
and we'll never get to. I don't think he's going to be in season 2. I think he's dying
to save the kids.
So he's going to
a whole like heart.
Yep.
Felt
he's gonna
moment.
change.
He's gonna like blow up all the pirates at the same time with him or something.
He's gonna have to destroy the treasure to save the kids, or something like that. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get. I think it's gonna might be kind of like a Kino Loy thing from Andor. We're never gonna know if he survived or not. Kind of like this. I think we're never gonna know what was this force ability trickery thing that he did. Like, what's going on? But I don't know. We'll see. And so I like how Jod is like, just shoot me now, and then it jumps to the kids shooting blasters, practicing. And these are like weird blasters. They're like rods,
sticks. They look like tasers,
but like they shoot these weird like tube, like like I don't know.
Well,
like
they were talking about how like they only trade to get
ammunition. Yeah, but it's like what I'm trying to like. How do you describe these shots? It was kind of like fire laser type things. Like they're just like they weren't like blaster bolts.
Almost like webs, almost too.
Something
like, they kind of like
weird.
Yeah,
weird thing. I don't know, but it just goes to show like how like one how old the technology is.
Yes,
but also like how like it's just you could tell it's kind of like the scraps. Like it's all like broken.
It's all put together. Like none of them look the same.
So maybe 100 years ago they worked a lot better and they're more what we would recognize. But as they deteriorated and broken up, like these are just malfunctioning basically. And Neo is not interested in practice shooting while all the other kids are. And so Hannah is talking to him about this and like, I don't want to do this. This is stupid. Like blah, blah, blah. And she's like, all right, come with me. And they go up to the roof of the school where it's like a bunch of like shops and tents and stuff. And like, all right, let's go get our daily ration. It's like a bun, like a purple bun, and like slop. And Neil gives it to these two little kids that are just sitting there like they need the food more than him. And Hannah sees that and like, oh, he has a heart for kids. And like,
did you notice, or was it just me that they didn't have any coffee or tea as rations?
I did not notice, and I didn't look.
We should have.
But if you are in a military uprising against some sort of oppressive military thing, and you need a little more pep in your step to help your aim,
especially if you want to do flips like her, you know that girl was on some caffeine of something.
Maybe she looks like she like a nice tea.
Oh yeah,
but coincidentally, once again, our sponsor for today is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea,
and they do help you do flips. I've seen it.
Can you do a flip? You're wearing a Wesley Andrews hoodie right now.
I am, and that's for me to know and you to maybe never find out.
I feel like when you were in high school,
I couldn't
try to do flips.
I had a friend that like would just like would be standing in class, and then all of a sudden he would like watch this, and then he'd just do a backflip like standing. I was like, I'd be so afraid I would die. I would never do that.
There was one guy in college who did gymnastics that he would do that. There's a few times.
He just
like when they needed someone in Battle of the Floors to do a backflip, he was the
guy. Yeah, there's always one guy, dude.
Yep. So yes, if you need some coffee or tea to help an uprising for freedom, take a listen to this commercial break.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code EMPIRERADIO, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
All right. Well, so as they're walking through the tents and whatever you want to call this, she shows Neil like why they're safe, like on this thing that's all exposed and stuff. And she goes and it's like a crank thing with her staff and it opens up this giant cannon. So she's like, this is what keeps us safe. Which is it just one? Or they got it was like there are more like multiple ones. I don't know. But like I said earlier, I think Neil is gonna
something's gonna happen and he's gonna have to use that cannon.
Use it at Atten.
He's gonna use it on Atten when those pirates find their direction there.
Yeah, so it would be cool, but like it's gonna be also a moral dilemma for him because he's just talking about how he doesn't. In a moment, he's like, I don't want war. Just don't be part of it. Like it's not good. War's bad. But he's gonna like be put in a position where to protect his family and protect his friends and his planet, he's gonna have to do a active war in a sense against the pirates. So it would be cool to see that internal dilemma that he might have to go through. Pretty deep for a kid to have to make that kind of decision.
Kid elephant.
Yep. And so, yeah, so he's just talking with Hannah, and he's like, just not happy. He doesn't want to be part of this war. Like, just Like we and it's peaceful. Like there's no war there. Like the biggest war we have is playing slap ball. It's like with this ball thing, and I'm the best. And she's just like looking at him like, what are you talking about? Like it's just I don't know. I really like this actress, this girl, Hannah's
Yeah,
actress.
for sure. She's really good.
One, I was like, is she a French actress? And I looked her up. She's from Missouri, so like,
Dang, that's even cooler.
so she's at what I'm assuming was 13 when they recorded when she was in here, like being able to like do a French accent pretty well. She had, I really thought she did a really good job in this episode. Just
Yeah, I thought
portraying,
her performance was really good,
and so
she's a boss. I'm flipping. I wonder if she actually did those. I'm assuming.
no,
No, I'm assuming she did. She can.
No, because
they're not going to hire someone to do that.
What do you mean? Yeah,
But,
they
like,
do. They got stunt people.
Okay, yeah, but to the point, like it was unnecessary flips and stuff. So like,
there's no way when you look at the girl at the end that flips, it's a far shot and you don't see her face, and the girl is clearly like 2 feet taller than.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're not gonna. Even if she could do the flip, they're not gonna have a 13-year-old do a stunt like that where she could screw up and break her neck. Like
that's fair.
They're not gonna do that. But
she was pretty tall. She was taller than an elephant.
Oh yeah, because she's one, girls hit puberty on average before boys, so a lot of girls in middle school are taller than the boys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when high school happens, it tends to switch around
pretty quick.
But yes, she accuses him and his planet and his people of being weak, which is understandable. That when all you know is war, you need strong people. So like, people who don't know the concept of war are going to be weak. But they have this heart-to-heart about all this, and I forget what he says, but he makes her laugh. And then as they're laughing, he like scooch. They're sitting on the ledge of this roof, and as they're laughing, he like scoots himself closer to her, which I thought was kind of funny. But then it jumps to KB, and she's shooting, and she's like the best shot on the whole squad.
Mm-hmm.
Like knocks down like 4 or 5 cans or whatever off this thing, and Wim is super impressed and goes to give her a high five, and she's like, what are you doing? And he has to like go in and like hit her hand. She doesn't know what a high five is, which is funny. And so Neil and Hannah come back, and Wim takes out the big gun. Look, I can do this. And it's like a kind of like an E-web type of thing, and you see him like turn the power setting all the way up. I'm like, oh, this is not gonna be good. I thought he was gonna like blow up a wall or something, but it just shoots him back like 20 feet. And so General Strix comes over and looks down on him when he's laying on the floor, and he's like, all right, prepare for battle. You guys are gonna lead us in the battle. And the kid's like, what? So they're all the Troik warriors are moving forward outside, and the kids are at the front, and they're like, we can't do this. What are we doing? We're just kids. And then one of the guys is like, even talking about desertion is punishable by death or whatever. And so they get to us breaking like a spot where they can get some cover, and like, all right, kids, you're gonna scout ahead and tell us what's going on. And like, we're not gonna do that. And then the warriors all aim their guns at the kids. Like, well, if you don't go, we're gonna kill you right now. Like, oh dang! Like, they're serious. And then so the kids all right, we'll go. They're going, and then Neil is super scared. He's shaking in his boots, and he stops walking. And then Hannah, like, I'm going with him, Dad, and Dad doesn't like it. But that gives Neil the encouragement to move forward. But he's like, we just gotta talk about peace. Like, we just gotta say we're sorry. Like, we don't need to fight this. Like, we can end this and all this stuff. and this is not right. Let's just make peace. And then off in the distance, you hear a subtitle is called a caw. I'm like, what is going on? Like, so like the bad guys, here's the Hatton people, the Hatton warriors coming. They're all right. How are they gonna get out of this? And it's just kind of calm, and this whole planet is everywhere is covered in this fog. And it's kind of, I think it's supposed to be like the fog of war type of thing.
Yeah.
Obviously. But then I'm like, who's out there? And I totally forgot about Jod at this point. Like,
Yeah, me too.
and he just comes in like, hey guys, SM-33 is in the back, come walking in, and then it says to like the general and stuff, hey, I believe these are yours, and he caws again, and the Eopies come running in, and I'm like, oh, how did he get out of this situation with those warriors back there? And the dad is like General Strixon. He's like, all right, well, what do you want for reward for returning this to us? And I just want the four kids. I'll take them. And he's like, really? You want them? Like, we could give you some of our best hides. And he's like, well, how many hides? And the kid's like, what? And he's like, I'm just joking. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That was really funny. And so they're like, well, the kids are like, Fern was like, I can't believe you came and saved us. And this is where Jod kind of like, yeah, but like Jude Law did a really good job of like the way he like said, yeah, but you could tell there was something else that he did.
That he was hiding.
So like something happened. And like at the end of this episode, they're still on this planet. So it's like they still have to deal with the droid and get back to their ship. So it's like, what's going to happen between that in that episode? Like, what did he do? Is there going to be a fallout to what he did? We'll find out. But then Hana is basically like, well, they helped us get the Eopies back because of their bravery, blah, blah, blah. We need to like reward them more. Like, a deal is a deal. We got to bring them to the fallen sanctum. And so they whatever. And so then like he's talking with the kids a little bit. They're walking, and then I was like, how did you like do this? And he's like, oh, those Hatton people, they're really into like making deals. And he's like, how'd you make a deal? Like, well, I gave them your credits. And when I was like, you gave them my, what do you call them, datteries or something like that?
Yeah, datteries.
Like, it's like, well, it was either that or you're on your own, basically. And like, fine, whatever. So Hana brings him shows him the tower, which like she could have just said, yeah, it's that tower that they could have seen anywhere. I don't know why they had to make a big deal out of it, but she brings him there and like, well, this is as far as I'm going to go. You guys go on your own. I have to stay back with my family. And Neil's like, no, you got to come with. Atten has peace. Like, you can come with us. We'll go back to Atten. You can know peace. She's like, no, I'm the future of this fight. Like, when my dad passes, I'm going to be the leader. And she's basically like, based on what you taught to me, maybe I'll be able to bring peace when I'm in charge, type of thing. And so he's like, it's because of your kindness. Like, you might be weak, but that makes you kind, which is, I thought she was going to say because your weakness is your best strength, and that's your kindness. But like she said, because you're weak, you are kind, which is an interesting take on
when
that.
She said, I was like, is that a jab? But it's whatever.
But it wasn't a jab because she kissed him on the
homeboy got game, bro,
cheek or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess, yeah, okay. And she like runs off, jumps up on this thing, and does a flip. I'm like, all right, cool.
I want a shirt of his face with like like those when like something like that happens and they put the glasses come onto the face.
Oh, someone already did that in the Discord.
Oh really? That's
They
what I
took
want as a shirt. I would wear his the Thug Life shirt, the glasses. Someone did that in the Discord. That's so funny. I just thought about that now.
That's
I
like
need to
literally
look.
last night, like within like 20 minutes of
I'm gonna pull that up on my phone now. That's hilarious.
who
That
was
someone did
that did that? Let me go. It was Assassination 300. He made a video of it, a little quick.
Dude, what a goat! Is
So
that in the
it's in the
Skeleton
Skeleton
Crew?
Crew under live action shows. But
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
yeah, so join the Discord and you can find some cool memes and funny videos and stuff that people make sometimes. So go join the Discord. But yes, so they end up at the tower and they're like, well, the supervisor, he hangs out on the top of the thing. Like, who's going to be up in this tower is just totally decimated too. It's like all ruins and stuff. And so the elevator go up isn't working, but classic KB, she goes in, hot wires it, and they're on their way. They get up to the top, and it's ruins inside, dirty, dusty, things are falling apart. There was this cool thing like on the ceiling. I don't know what it was, but it was like a paint. It had like a gold painting and stuff on it, like of like plants and stuff. I don't know. Like it was kind of like supposed to be.
Yeah, I
Like,
feel like I need to go back and like watch him break down it.
I think it's just kind of like supposed to be like a portrait of like what at Atten looks like, but it was at Akron.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like what it looked like before it fell. And they're just looking around, like there's nothing here. And then Wim's like, I think I found something, and he wipes off the wall, and it's the name of another planet at I2 or A2. And Jod's like, well, those are galactic coordinates right there to this planet. And then everyone starts like, oh, well, what do these other ones say? And so then they found at Aricia, at Aravin, at Akoda. And then Neil says, hey, I found at Atten. They run over there, and the coordinates have been scraped out of it, like it was destroyed. And like, who on earth would do this? And SM3 says, I did. Oh boy. Something's going to go down. And he's like, yeah, last time I was here, like, you were already here before? Like, yeah, we found the coordinates at Atten, and my captain told me to destroy it. And any of the other crewmates that saw the coordinates, they were immediately killed. So basically, the captain and SM-33 were the only ones who knew the coordinates, and Fern's upset. Like, well, then why would you do this? Like, this was our ticket home. Like, we needed these. And she kind of freaks out and she runs off, and she's just like looking outside the tower. And Wim goes to counsel her, and he's still optimistic. They're like, well, you'll figure it out. Like, you're captain, and you'll figure this out. And she's like, I shouldn't have been captain. You should have, Wim. And Wim was like, no, I wouldn't have gotten us this far. Like, you were the right choice. You're the captain. Which I appreciate that from Wim.
Yes,
like,
me too.
He's like, but I trust you. Like, you've gotten us this far. Like, and what does he say? Like, you're amazing, Fern, or something like that. Like he said some direct compliment like that. And she's like, no, it's not that simple, blah, blah, blah. I can't just do that because you tell me that I can figure it out. Like, I'm not a droid. I don't just do what I'm told. And as she's walking away, light bulb goes off. Because we're all thinking it. Well, he received a command not to tell. Let's give him a command to tell. And so she runs over there, and KB's with the droid trying to figure out if she can restore his memory. And she's like, he can't remember because he was told not to remember. And she's like, I can override his memory like I do with the nanny droid at home. Like, oh, dang, foreshadowing that we didn't catch up on from the first episode. And she's like, I am your captain. Remember everything about Atten. And I really liked how, like, you could hear
it working.
like the mind working. Like,
and he started like smoking.
like he started like straightening up a little bit. And like, I do remember. And she's like, great. Tell us how to get home. And he's like, well, I was told to forget this stuff, but I was also told if anyone starts trying to inquire about the coordinates to tear them apart. And then he just starts getting his arms getting bigger, like from like the second episode when he's fights the pirates. He starts getting bigger and bigger, loosening up, getting his weapons out basically. And tear them apart. And his voice is changing. It's getting more distorted, getting lower. And then Fern's like telling him to stop again, to override. And he's like, from limb to limb. And like super scary. The girls are knocked down and Wim knocked down. And he's about to like kill him. And then thump. Rock was thrown at him. I'm like, oh, dang, who was it? Was it Hannah? Did she come to the rescue? Camera pans over. Nope, it was Neil throwing rocks. And I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, you just talked about not having war, not fighting, and now you're fighting. Like, this is very complicated for a 10-year-old person to like navigate. And so SM-33 starts charging at Neil. I'm like, oh, how is this gonna? Hannah, she's still gonna show up. She's gonna like shoot him. And nope, Jod, he runs and taps the back and turns the switch off. And SM-33 collapses like in a push-up position over Neil. And here's the thing. I know, like from Clone Wars and other things, that droids have on-off switches. Like we see, like Anakin, little Annie do it when he's building C-3PO. But like, I feel like it's too easy to hit that switch.
But you got to remember, it's a really old, outdated droid.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like, if it was this
that's
easy, I feel like all these conflicts that people have with droids when they're like in hand-to-hand combat.
I don't think the new ones are like that.
I don't know, I feel like they are. I feel like we saw them in
Well,
Rebels. I feel like Chopper
Anakin,
they turned him off, I think, in Rebels. I think other droids are
like,
turned off.
Like C-3PO was easy to turn on and off when he didn't have his clothes on. I don't know how to say it. Yeah, shell.
Clothes.
I was like I was gonna say when he was naked, but he's whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So like that's why he was able to turn on and off. Like we don't see them do that to him later. R2, I don't think that boy has an off switch unless you get like really inside of him.
I don't know, but like
this guy is like cords coming out of his head. He has a mouse in his eye. Like,
oh right, but it's
it
like
makes
he
sense
just
that
tapped
he
the
has
back though. It was just right on his back.
It's like under his back, yeah.
But like,
but if you don't know where it is,
huh?
If you don't know where it is, it's.
But I feel like it's always in that back or neck area because, like, when he went and to go find SM-33 in episode 2 or 3, like, he goes to a droid shop thing and, like, he turns all of them on and, like, he goes right to it. Like, he doesn't even have to look. Like,
that's
even
true.
a B-1 battle droid was there, which, you know, is from 30 years, 35 years, or whatever it was beforehand. Like, even those ones had on-off switches right on the neck. Like, honestly, like, they're in Clone Wars. I feel like the
well, if the Jedi just ran, did their running thing, and just turned off all the switches.
Well, I'm just saying, you just felt the Force. Like, oh, there's 100 of them. All right, let's sense all the switches.
That's true. But maybe they didn't have them, like, super available. Like, I don't know. Stop making Star Wars boring, Jeremiah.
I'm not saying it's boring. I'm just saying, like, is this too easy? Like,
yeah. It's convenient.
Or it could have been something like, even if like Jod like jumped on his back and had like wrestled to like get to switch.
Choke him and
To,
like
like,
rip his head out on accident.
To like show that it was difficult to hit the button rather than him just easily just running
just
and
sliding.
Tag you're it type of thing.
That's fair.
But yes, anyway, so the girls and Wim go to kneel on the ground, and I thought it was kind of funny because you see Wim, he goes in and slides in. He totally stole that from
He's been
Hannah.
watching his girlfriend, bro.
And so, like, I think the whole like flip slide thing with Hannah, it's like she's still a kid. Like when we were kids, we were always thinking about doing flips and doing slides and doing cool stuff.
Trying to find fun ways to do stuff.
But like she's actually living out a childhood like battle that we think about in our heads with neighborhood kids and stuff. Like she's actually doing it. So it's like Wim sees someone actually doing a slide because he like when she slid in the bus, he's like, oh cool. Like he's like impressed by it. So like he goes in and slides to be cool like Hannah. And so Neil, he's like, oh wow, I can't believe that. And then he just like instantly like starts his faints, which is funny. Like a delayed faint. Like, is that even a thing? Like that was kind of funny. And so then it starts like slapping his face a little bit to wake him up. And then that's the episode.
A shorter one too.
Well, it was 37 minutes. So it was longer than
the last one.
It was longer than episode 2. I think last week was 40. This one's 37. So I guess it's second from the bottom. But there's only 4 episodes. But yeah.
Halfway done already. Isn't that crazy?
Halfway there. Living on a prayer, right? So,
prediction.
Well, one, they have to get back to their ship. Like, one, they got to figure out, get coordinates. They're probably going to go to another planet.
Yeah.
They're going to get all the coordinates, and they're maybe.
And now they know where coordinates would be.
Right. So
they're going to go to probably a few planets, I'm assuming.
I'm kind of thinking, because Kim last episode said that the planets were destroyed, all but one at Aten. So, like, destroyed, like, we interpreted it as
blown
up or completely like wrecked, but it's just more like fallen maybe. And so maybe there are going to be some destroyed planets possibly, but I feel
they
like
only named 6 out of the 9.
Well, it's because they only went to all of them are there, just that they didn't read all of them because they got to Aten first. But I'm pretty sure like next episode, if it's not the whole episode is just them trying to get back to the ship and dealing with the Hatton warriors again. Like, if they get off the planet pretty quick, I feel like the whole episode could be like a montage. Like, they're going to go to a bunch of these planets, and they are going to be destroyed, and they're just going to go there. There's nothing there. They can go back to the tower on that one, see if they can find it, and it's going to be destroyed again, like the corners for Aten are destroyed. Or they're going to show up in the planet.
Montage. I think it'd be cool to see it through whoever the captain is.
A whole flashback episode?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna get that. We might get a little flashback from SM33 from one little thing, but I don't think we're gonna get a whole episode.
My prediction is that the leader of Aten is actually the pirate captain.
I think he's still alive after hundreds and hundreds of years.
Well, we don't know how long. We don't know when they did the pirate. We're just assuming it's a very, very long time.
They're old Republic credits.
He could not be a humanoid. He could be an alien.
I don't know, but wasn't the captain the one that had the knife in him in the wreckage?
No, that was just we don't know.
I don't know. I felt like that
because he kills everyone.
He kills everyone who saw the coordinates.
I think he kills everyone.
No, because that's not what SM33 said. He said he killed everyone who saw the coordinates, and there was all kinds of skeletons on that ship. So, like,
he go there, they find the treasure, and then he kills everyone. And then he realizes that he can't get off the planet for some reason because of the barrier. and then he maintains the planet as the leader. I think there's a reason why we didn't see their leader. Their leader's head was gone. I think there's something deep about this leader at and why it's still around.
I don't think there is a leader. I think it's just it's just probably a computer system. It's it's just when they create these planets to do whatever they're doing, they just kind of said, "Oh, there's the supervisor that no one sees." Because then is that what someone said? No one's ever seen the supervisor or something like that.
I don't think so. I think it's the parents don't know who he is, but this planet definitely had a leader because their leader's head was taken off. They had a supervisor too, and it didn't work.
Was there a statue on Atten that we?
I don't think we got to. We didn't go there yet. We didn't go to that part yet. So, which makes me think maybe it could be the captain. That'd be interesting. All the treasure is there, so they didn't find the treasure. We know that from the trailer. Unless that's a flashback.
No, because the kids are in there.
Oh shoot! Yeah, we talked about that.
But I don't because I think the captain was the one that had the knife in him. I thought that's what they said.
No, I have to go back. Chat, help us out.
But also, the ship crashed and it was upside down. I don't think anyone survived that crash. And the fact that it was covered in dirt and had trees that were growing out of thing, it's been there for hundreds of years. At least the High Republic from the books.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably even much older than that. Maybe hundreds and hundreds of years before the High Republic. Because if it's Old Republic is referring to the actual Old Republic, that's thousands of years before. So it's I don't know. I think it's just a person. It's the person of the supervisor is just an idea that
there's actually no more leaders. It's just they're just doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I don't even think there was ever any leaders. I think it was just kind of an idea. And
I think there's definitely was a leader at some point.
I don't know. I feel like they're gonna get up there and it's just gonna be a computer. It's gonna be supervisor, but it's a long acronym S. That'd be kind of funny if it was that. But yeah, so it all depends on for next episode if they get off the planet right away. If they do that, I think it's gonna be them going a montage of them going to planets and being disappointed. But if it could also just be them the whole episode trying to get back to the ship and dealing with the Hatton.
Or they get back and they reprogram the droid. And then actually figure out how to get back. And then they get back. And yeah, right. I don't know. We keep forgetting that there's still pirates that are hunting them.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Any other thoughts?
No.
All right. Well, let's transition over to everyone's favorite time of every episode, voicemail time. It's voicemail time. All right. We have 2 voicemails. And so first up from our favorite Australian, Ethan. We haven't heard from him in a while. And he's back with a little life update. So let's take a listen.
G'day, fellas. It's Ethan here from Perth. I just want to say hi again. I was going to send an email a couple of weeks ago. Then I just forgot, or I actually tried to record one, but I don't think it's sent or something stupid like that. But anyways, just quick life update in Australia. Today's a nice, cool 29 degrees Celsius. The last 2 days, we've been getting 35 to 39 degrees Celsius. So I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but either way,
we don't know what it is in Celsius.
Hope you're doing well. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
All right, thank you, Ethan. And I looked it up, and the 29 that he said was at the day of recording, is about 85 degrees, which
So
he
it
said
was
was.
in the hundreds then.
So he said it was cool, but he said we recently be getting 35 to 39 degrees Celsius, and 39 is 102. So pretty hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
But is it you guys get humid in Perth? Like, how
I
is
guess, yeah, I
humidity
don't
down in
know.
Australia? Or is
In
it dry
Perth.
heat?
I guess it depends where, probably. But also, it's their summer right now, so that makes sense.
Right.
So,
But he said he was gonna be in Canada next month, and he was gonna bring us some Vegemite and mail it to us. So we got to figure out a mailing address for him to send some Vegemite, so we can
maybe
try
I'll
it
just go to fly to Canada and pick it up.
and
from
meet him.
Yeah, just go meet him, shake his hand. What up?
And
Let me know
smuggle
when you go
some.
to Canada. We can probably figure that out.
So that's our default thing: is you're gonna fly and meet him
I
in
can just
person
go
rather than
meet
him
him
just
at the
mail it to
airport.
us.
It's probably cheaper for him.
I don't know. I feel like from Canada to Minnesota, it'd probably be like
With these new tariffs, bro, I don't know, bro.
50. Okay, tariffs are not on mail. That's not the whole
True.
point of a
That's fair.
tariff.
That's fair. Good point.
International mail is tariffs.
How much is it till? I feel like it's still more expensive because, like,
I've mailed a package, a flat rate box from Minnesota to China, and that was like $80. So
when was this?
a little jar of Vegemite from Canada to Minnesota. I feel
Yeah,
like
but
it's
when was this?
I don't know, like 10 years ago.
Oh, we can look it up. We'll chat. Look it up. Where's he at?
I don't think anyone's in the chat.
No, Will's in here.
Well,
What?
there's no way to calculate that because you need to know the size of the package, the weight.
But there's ways to, like.
And I don't know.
Where in Canada did he say? Melbourne?
He's a no.
That's Australia. Duh.
He's going. I don't know. I would have to go look at his message again, but I'm assuming Toronto. I don't know.
Because there's like, I know like a lot of smaller companies like Wesley, like we don't ship to Canada. It's too expensive. It's like $100, even if it's across the border.
I don't know.
So yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'll send him a message. We'll figure
it out.
But where does Delta? Where do they fly? Everywhere in Canada, all the major
Everywhere,
cities.
yeah.
Okay.
Melbourne and then throughout there.
Melbourne is in Australia.
I mean, not Melbourne.
Toronto, Vancouver. What else is there?
I think it's Toronto. Is like
Edmonton,
the main hub.
Winnipeg. What other cities are there? In
A lot more cities than that.
That's about it. That's all we know.
It's annoying though because all the airport codes for Canada all start with a Y.
Why is that bad?
Because this is confusing.
Why? Okay, it's Y. Okay, it's Canada. It makes it easier.
Yeah, that. But which Canada? It's like YCM, YMO. Like
YMCA.
It's just like more confusing because it's like, why is it Y?
Because they just
Canada doesn't start with a Y.
So
it should be all starts with a C. That would make more sense. But this is Canada, man. You're from Canada. Well, we actually know some people from Canada here. I could go hang out with Brady.
Oh yeah, okay. So I was just thinking that I was reading comments and we were talking about Jonathan's comment. There was one from Brady too. Sorry.
Yeah, you.
We got distracted, but Brady says, "Happy Sunday, Empire Radio. Boss Nass, Emperor Palpatine, and Bantha Stew all say hello. Greetings from cold and snowy Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Keep up the great work." Sorry, Brady, we forgot your.
Hey, I caught it. I should go see Brady. He'll show me around some Canada.
I don't know. He's in military school, so I don't know if you can.
Yeah, not right now. I'm saying when he has time off. He almost came and saw us. Remember?
Did he?
For Empire Con.
I don't think he.
And he couldn't because that was like his only time to see his family.
Oh, that's what happened. We planned for August because he said he was free, And then he's like, sorry, I can't go. I'm like, we waited this long so you could come. But
yeah.
we still love you, Brady. It's good to hear from you. We love to hear from Boss Nass and Emperor Palpatine and all those great
Boss
guys.
Nass, boss.
Boss Nass, boss. And if you haven't watched the VCU, the Voicemail Cinematic Universe, our fan film on YouTube, go check that out. But yes, Ethan, it's always cold here. We're about to get a snowstorm tonight, overnight, and into the morning, in the afternoon tomorrow.
Yeah.
They say like, some are saying like 5 to 7, but other ones are saying like 3-4 inches.
I don't think it shouldn't be too bad.
They said that there's a possibility that like a swirl is going to happen, and depending on how that swirl hits, or how
There's
much
like already
swirls.
schools like canceling.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, y'all soft.
dude, it happens.
6 inches is nothing, dude.
It's been like that for probably 10, 15 years now. That the further you get from out of the city, like unless you're in St. Paul and Minneapolis, if once you get out of there, like they cancel like pretty easy.
Never happened to me as a kid, really.
Well, first of all, you were homeschooled for like the first like how many? You were homeschooled
till like 2nd grade.
That's still a lot of years of missed snow days that you could have had.
No, but anytime there was any snow days, we didn't do school when we were homeschooled.
Lucky you.
Not really.
What do you
I don't
mean?
want to talk about my experience of being homeschooled.
Well, you didn't like having a day off?
No, I like that part, but I think it was just an excuse for my mom not to do anything. But anyways, I'm not getting into that. Yeah, it's supposed to be like next Monday is like 35 degrees. So
yeah, it's supposed to be warm. So
Christmas Day is like 45.
So like if we get only a few inches,
yeah,
it might be all melted by within a week. But
yeah. It's supposed to rain on the Friday after Christmas.
No, that's too far out to like really say it's gonna happen. But
which is always the worst when it's like cold, then rain, and then becomes ice, because then the roads just become like skate rings.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Ethan. I'll try and send you a message and figure out this Vegemite situation.
How much it's going to cost?
All right. Well, last up, we have Garrett from the Coup d'Etatverse. And so last time he has finally met the hooded figure, and it seemed like it was Darth Ray from episode 9. We officially know that Garrett is in the multiverse. He's in a different Star Wars universe with this alternate dark side user. So
somehow he went through the world between worlds.
Interesting. Well, let's take a listen to a little update on what's going on.
Hey, Empire Radio, it's Garrett. I'm getting treated like a king here on this First Order ship. All the troopers listen to me and do basically anything I say. The girl who's training me, or Empress Palpatine as she likes to go by, took me to a couple of different planets and we found temples there. She told me this was part of my training as there were trials to complete at each one. I was having trouble opening the first one, so I asked her for help. But she said she lacked the ability to open the temple and that only I could, so I guess that's pretty cool. Every temple I completed, I felt myself get stronger and had a higher understanding of the Force. One temple had me relive part of my past. It was the day my crew and I saved those people from servitude. Later on, after that temple was completed, I asked the Empress what happened on the space station outside of Jeddah as I read about it in the First Order news magazine. She then told me that a rogue officer had recently been demoted to watch over the station and cut corners. He used non-First Order personnel to fill job positions on the station, and a group of those people rebelled and ended up blowing up the station. She told me the officer was a disgrace for putting his people in danger, and she hoped I can learn from his mistakes. Now, about Skeleton Crew. I felt this episode was a bit slow and a little bit boring. It also showed the kids training and preparing for that fight not to happen, which felt like time invested for no payout. But I do love the overall way that they portrayed the SM-33 can't say I remember no at-atin reflex, because we only hear it once or twice before, and that's not really enough to indicate anything. But I put the pieces together once he said it a third time in the beginning of the episode. It got me thinking about the phrase because it's a double negative, and then it turned out to be true that it was a reflex, so at least we got that payoff.
All right, thank you, Garrett. So, Empress Palpatine is taking you around from temple to temple, and she couldn't open one, but you could. Like, what's going on with that? Like, does she
Little
know that you're
fishy
not?
there.
Maybe it's only the light side can open it, and she's just using your light side.
Gotta
And your,
watch your back, my guy.
yeah, so I think she might be stabbing you in the back in this near future.
Double saber.
That double bladed fork
Hook
looking, whatever you
thing.
want to call it. But I don't know, like I don't know what's going to happen next in the coup d'etat verse, because it's he mentioned this thing about this ship was destroyed with like had faulty crew and things that go like, what is that all about? Like, this is I feel like am I not remembering what happened, or
I remember that.
blowing up a station?
Yeah, the one with all the slaves on it. Remember they freed all those slaves?
They blew it up?
Yeah. Am I right? Garrett's in the chat. Am I right? Am I remembering that? Why am I making that? Yeah, I was right. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I
remember you saving the slaves, but like,
yeah, they blew it up. And that's when he became a pirate, like shortly after that.
oh, well, it's been so long. This whole coup d'etat verse has been going on for like
Over a year. For
almost
sure.
a year now or something like that. I think it was like
it's been over a year.
I don't know. I think it started after Grace's first episode with us, and that was in November of last year.
Really?
Yeah, almost a year, I think. I would have to go back and look in my folder, my
You're gonna have to
my voicemail
when this
folder.
is
with
all
the
done, we're gonna like cut out the ends of his like predictions and stuff to them or whatever. Like,
we're making another movie.
Maybe Mr. Lego is gonna have to create a movie out of it.
That's a lot of work.
Well, I'm not saying we gotta do it. Maybe he's gonna do it. It was during Ahsoka.
Well, then that's been over a year.
That's been way over a year.
Because I feel like
I'm telling you, it's been a long time.
But I feel like you were doing your pod racing stuff, and then Grace was on for her second episode, and I had to explain to her the backstory. And that would have been like January or February when she did her first comics episode with us.
But remember, he took a little bit of time off. He went.
I don't know. I can't remember. But yes, anyway, his thoughts about the kids training and not having a payoff. So I think that was
We're gonna see it.
No, I'm saying it. That was because the episode focused on Neil. Like, the kids were all excited to train and do all that stuff, but the story was about Neil's issue with fighting and wanting peace and changing. Hannah's heart.
Your point about the canon, I think future stuff, if they get attacked, now they know how to shoot things and like they're going to be more prepared. So there might be a time where they actually do have to protect themselves. And
I don't know. KB is the only one that can shoot, so
true, but they are more battle ready than probably all their parents.
Possibly.
So,
but I don't know. I think it was because the focus was on Neil going against the war, that was the point of why there wasn't a payoff, because he was able to change perspectives and be the voice of reason, I guess.
Yeah, it was more just, and we had to be convinced that they may be able to hold their own in that one scene when they were all pushed out to potentially fight.
And what happened to Fern's blaster? Did that just get taken when they got arrested and she never got it back?
Must have. I forgot she had one.
I think they must have confiscated. I was like I thought they had guns on the ship, but I don't know. All right, well, that is both voicemails, so that's all set. But next week, Christmas Day, we will be recording me and Grace. I don't have a time on that. We're kind of playing it by ear because she will be recording internationally. She'll be out of the country, but she's bringing her mic so she can record.
Dang, what a
So,
G.
so we don't know what exactly the time, but hopefully it'll be earlier in the day or afternoon or something. And so I'll have that up Christmas Day, hopefully right away, as soon as possible. But until then, you can get connected with us in all ways, shapes, and forms. So go in the description below, the links.co/Empire Radio, links below too. I click that link. Landing page for everything Empire Radio. So follow us on YouTube, Twitch, join the Discord, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. There's a fan email, voicemail. We love to hear from you, your thoughts on this show with the voicemails, or anything you wanted to say. Hey, what's up? We'd love to hear from you. Also, finally, a link for needlesslynerdy.com, which is an entertainment network that we're a part of. So go check that out for more nerdy content. I think that's everything.
Yeah. You guys have a happy holidays. If you don't, well, I guess you guys are going to record, but happy holidays to you guys.
Yep. Let us know.
And
how
Jeremiah will
things are.
see you next week.
Yep, with grace. So, you've been listening to another Skeleton Crew-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.